All right, so Fry was frozen on that
Was
for 1,000 years. He had 93 cents in his savings account.
wow.
What happens when your pizza delivery?
Yeah, that's what happens when you're a bad pizza delivery
It
person.
was his tip for the day.
Yeah. So he had 93 cents in his bank account when he was frozen. His interest rate was 2.25% compounded yearly.
That's fantastic.
Okay? What's his balance?
After the 1,000 years?
Yeah.
I'll have to do that.
Yes, we will have to do math. So let's think about this. So starting amount, right? What's his starting amount?
93 cents.
93
93
cents.
cents. $0.93. Okay. How do we figure out how much he had in a year? What kind of problem is that? Is that a problem I know how to do or no?
Yeah, that's
a simple interest.
Perfect. That's a simple interest problem. So, and I would like to highlight that. Compound interest isn't actually a new thing. It's just simple interest occurring over and over again. Okay? So, he had 93 cents. So, at the 1 year mark, what does he have?
0.93 times 1.0225.
Yeah, 0.93 times 1 plus 0.0225, right? Guys all see that? That's a simple interest formula with what? What are my things here?
You've got your principal and your rate and
Okay, so my principal was $0.93. My rate was
the 0.0225, and then time was 1. So
2.25%, and the time is 1 year, right? You guys all see that? Okay, so somebody tell me what that equals.
0.950925.
950295. Okay, so he's got roughly 95 cents, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is the thing about compounding. How is compounding different than simple?
Because now your starting amount would be the 95 cents instead of 93 cents.
Perfect. Yeah, we're going to pay simple interest again in the next year, but now instead of paying simple interest on what he had originally, we're going to pay simple interest on what's in his account today. You guys see that? So our second year, how am I going to calculate simple interest for this thing?
Multiply by
Take the same equation, but replace the principal with the output from that,
Perfect.
95 cents.
So this thing here is going to be my new principal, right? So I'm going to have 0.95, whatever, times 1 plus 0.0225. You guys see that? So that's simple interest performed again. And right now this is not going to be obvious, so I'm going to pull this out a little bit. That 0.95, what did that come from?
Yeah. but
Yeah, that came from this thing. So I had 0.93 times 1 plus 0.0225 times 1 plus 0.0225. You guys see that? So what's going to happen in the next one?
You're going to add another one onto it.
Exactly. So at 3 years, right? We're going to do, all right, we're going to get whatever we got out of this thing. So take this whole number here, right? We're going to turn that into our principal again. And we're going to perform simple interest again. At our same rate. Okay, so why is simple interest, or why is compound interest better, worse, or different for Fry than simple?
It'll give him, as his bank account increases, he'll start getting more return.
Yeah, exactly. The
If
amount
the
of
amount
interest
stays
he's gonna
consistent.
earn every year is gonna go up. You see this? If he had a simple interest account, right, he'd only be making 2 cents a year for 1,000 years. Right, he'd make like 20 bucks. You see that? But with compounding interest, he's making interest on the interest, right? And over 1,000 years, that's gonna stack a lot. Can you guys tell me what should his amount be? Like, what should his bank account balance be? B equals 0.93. Good, his starting balance, right?
1.0225 raised to the thousand.
You guys see that?
Let's just do that on paper.
Yeah,
Roughly 4.92,
Okay.
4.28. One of these things and a 9.
Oh, God.
yeah,
I
about.
got E to be a
4.3 million.
Put in one extra 0 or something.
I only have 9.
We missed a 0.
What did you do?
I don't know.
So, how big a number is this?
0.93, you did
Very big.
0.93.
What does this number represent?
Over 4 million.
That's how many cents you have.
No. Nice try.
Cents.
No. Nice try.
Okay.
What would, so remember, I put in 0.93 as my principal. So this is in dollars,
Oh, okay.
and this is $4.3 billion.
Which, assuming the interest rate was greater than inflation, you made money.
Yeah. You guys see that? Of course, this interest rate probably is actually running at about inflation. That's really about what your savings account interest rate is. It's about even with inflation. You can see that. So this is touch, like, yeah, it's $4.3 billion, right? But in 1,000 years, they'll probably be printing $4.3 billion notes. Well, not really.
That would be.
But this was $1, right? Roughly, that I started with. So $5 billion notes might be the equivalent of $1 in buying power. So assuming that there was no inflation, this would be an awful lot of money, yes?
I complicated the issue.
Yeah, you did. Please realize this is how bank accounts ought to work, right? You really should get paid for the interest because it's still money that's sitting in your account, right? So there are very few, if any, bank accounts that actually pay simple interest. They'll pay compounding interest for the most part. Stock market stuff is all compound interest. Cool. So this is the applicable one to your everyday life. Credit cards are all compound interest. Be scared of that,
Okay.
right? Because that means you can
Compounding.
end up paying interest on the interest. Yeah, and it gets away fast for me. Cool. Questions on compounding?
So if you cryogenically freeze yourself,
If you cryogenically freeze yourself, do so for a long time.
You'll wake up and fall.
Okay.